This is 5 Star Life Radio on News Talk 95.3 Michiana's News Channel. Now your host, Seth Moss.
You're listening to 5 Star Life Radio, brought to you by Global Link Distribution, a supplier to the RV, manufactured housing, cargo trailer, and cabinet shop industries, as well as Dometic, the ultimate outdoor equipment engineered for living. You can check them out at Dometic.com. Both Dometic and Global Link Distribution are proud sponsors of 5 Star Life Radio. I'm Coach Seth, and I'm joined with my co-host, Coach Mia.
Hey, Seth.
And you're listening to 5 Star Life Radio on 95.3 MNC. And if you just stumbled across the station, please go visit our website. It's the word 5 or the number 5, starlife.org. 5starlife.org. We are on a mission to change the face of culture. And if you flip on your TV, your smartphone, and you look at any news, you can see pretty quickly, like, culture is changing. It is just incredible. Every part of culture, political culture, you think about 5 years ago or 10 years ago, the political culture. You think about education, when you think about health, like medicine, everything has shifted, changed. Religion, it's amazing the shift in our culture. And our mission for the last 17 years has been to focus on what research says is the one thing that can move the needle of culture, and that is mindset. We all have an operating system. And I hear people all the time say, like, why are kids doing the things they're doing? Like when I was a kid, I didn't do that. I didn't dress that way. I would have never done that. And I always ask, like, well, maybe when you were a kid you didn't, but why didn't you? Because of a culture. You grew up in a different culture. Our kids are growing up in a strange culture. And I have my smartphone here. Just about every teenager has a smartphone. And their culture is any light or dark corner of the World Wide Web. And so culture has become this nebulous thing that is at the fingertips of every child. That's what's shaping their operating system. That's what's shaping their mindset. And so 5 Star Life, 17 years ago, we set out on a mission to say, okay, if the mindset is where you create change and move the needle, let's focus on developing a healthy mindset. What are the values? What are the skills? What are the things kids need to have to be healthy? And it's been an incredible journey. We just got numbers. We're reaching over 22,000 kids, in 2021. We've had a great year, but that's our mission.
So, Seth, we have a great show today because we just finished recording, as we always do on Wednesdays, and we just started a new series.
We did. So one of the things when you look at 5 Star Life and what our mission is, we have a video curriculum that is kind of the hub of every program, of everything we do. So whether it's at Summit, our 350-acre training facility, where we do experiential learning, there's equine programs and archery and adventure, and you name it, we have it. Or it's school-based programming. We have a curriculum that step by step, lesson by lesson, is designed to help kids create a healthy mindset. And we're actually filming a new series on confidence, like helping kids restore confidence. And ultimately, we're starting it with some really interesting points. You think about your own life. Confidence is something all of us want more of, but it's probably one of the last things we'll ever kind of tell people that we need, because we don't want to come across as insecure, or we don't want to show people we don't have confidence. Mm-hmm. And so kids are the same way. So how is it that you teach confidence? Which confidence is when you feel great about yourself, you feel amazing, you feel firm in who you are. And when you're confident, you look at life as one big opportunity after the next. And so that's kind of the litmus test. Is that what you do when you wake up? Do you think, like, man, today's a great opportunity? Are you excited about it? If not, it's probably because you don't have confidence in what you're about to do, what you're going to accomplish, what opportunities will come your way. And so teaching kids confidence, there's so many facets to teaching confidence, but ultimately our confidence level is is ultimately a result of conditioning. So if you're a person that has great confidence, it's because you've conditioned yourself to be confident. If you lack confidence, it's because you've conditioned yourself to lack confidence. So in the same way that we're just talking to our producer here in studio, he's on this great workout routine. He's conditioned himself to love working out. When he first started working out, I remember him complaining, I had to work out. And now it's like, man, I feel so much better when I work out. I feel way better when I'm working out. And so he feels way better now than he did when he was 10 years younger.
Right. And you just commented how great he looks too. So he's exuding confidence.
Yes. Yeah. So that confidence, he's conditioned himself for confidence. And we say competence creates confidence. So the fact that he has competency and he's developed the discipline to exercise his body is responding. Mm-hmm. Now, physical conditioning is important, right? My son Jordan, he wants to play college basketball, and he didn't get any great height from my genes. And so he has to be strong and quick and athletic, and so he's trying to gain weight. So he's on this weight gain routine, pure muscle, all muscle. So he's gained 15 pounds of muscle in the last 3 months. Wow. It's crazy when you look at him. I could hardly believe it. I'm like, man, if you can get 5 to 7 pounds over the next 3 months, do you think that'd be good? But somehow he's just going at it. Well, he's conditioned his body to respond. You think about people that, like Wim Hof, he's on YouTube. You know who Wim Hof is?
Yes, I do. I love him.
He's the guy that he's conditioned himself to go into extreme temperatures and go underwater. He can hold his breath forever, and he can be in these extreme Arctic temperatures, and it doesn't faze him. And he never gets sick because he's conditioned his mind and as a result, conditioned his body to perform so he doesn't get sick and he doesn't get cold. Most people go into cold temperatures and they will freak out and they'll tell themselves, I can't be out here, I'll get a cold. And what do? They get a cold.
Right.
So he's conditioned his body. But what I want to talk about today and in our first lesson for kids in building confidence, the conditioning part, rather than starting with, man, we've got to start to build positive habits and positive mental state. There's a guy by the name of Trevor Maywad. And he is a mental conditioning expert. So he is, according to Sports Illustrated, the #1 mental conditioning expert in the world.
How do you get to become a mental conditioning expert?
I have absolutely no idea.
That's so interesting. Sorry.
No idea. But he is. And, you are who, you're an expert based on somebody gives you that status, right? Sports Illustrated gives him that status. Russell Wilson, who he's trained and they do work together, gives him that status. The college football programs that he works with as a kind of quasi-sports psychologist, mental conditioning coach, give him that status. So Nick Saban, when he first went to Alabama had a losing record. Like, I don't know if you remember this. It's hard for people to remember this, but Alabama was terrible. So when I grew up, like growing up as a middle school and high schooler, Alabama was never a part of the conversation. They'd talk about Bear Bryant and talk about Alabama, and I would always see these old statistics about Alabama, and I was like, I don't care about Alabama. They're terrible because they were bad for so long. Mm-hmm. Well, they hire Nick Saban. They have a losing record. All they have is legacy. They have no success. Well, Nick Saban looks at, okay, we have 22 hours a week that the NCAA gives us to condition these athletes physically and mentally to perform. And Nick Saban understood the power of mental conditioning and sports psychology and said, I'm going to interview people to see who can help me build this program. Interviewed Trevor Maywad, hired him, and Trevor Maywad has an interesting background. So he wasn't always into mental conditioning. He wasn't always a believer in it, even though he grew up in a home where his dad was he's the president of the National Association for Self-Esteem. Didn't know there was such a thing. So think about this. He's growing up in the 80s. 90s with a dad who is, one of the first authors of Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Okay.
The Power of Positive Thinking. He was one of those early authors. So every day he's having drilled into him, like, you got to think positive. You got to be positive. Well, at 18, Trevor is diagnosed with cancer, forced to drop out of college, and later was diagnosed, actually was wrongly, it was misdiagnosed. It was shingles and a multitude of other strange diseases that he had. Long story short, he has to drop out of school, and so his dad's saying, be positive, be positive. He's like, the heck with being positive? Like, what is that going to do?
Right.
So Trevor's stance, even as a mental conditioning coach, was like, I don't ever tell people to start with positivity. Because think about it. Most people do not want to be you're going through a divorce. Your kids are struggling educationally or struggling in conflict as a family, or you're struggling with your boss, or for kids, they have no friends, or their friends on social media are trashing them, or they bombed a test, or there's all this pressure, there's health issues, whatever it is, whatever the challenges are. The bottom line is thinking positive just ticks people off sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. Be positive. Because it's almost like we're just putting our hands over our ears and saying, la, 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 I'm being positive even though life is hell right now. That doesn't work for a lot of people. And we're at a commercial break, so we'll press pause there. We'll come back and finish this thought just after this.
This is 5 Star Life Radio on News Talk 95.3 Michiana's News Channel, your breaking news and weather station.